welcome to Flip This Town. I'm Carla Davis.
And I'm Michael Scoggins.
Today, we're on South Main Street because we were looking on the internet and look what we found. We found a picture in the Middletown Library Lens on that website. We found a picture of this fountain. It's the Robbins Fountain on historic Main. Do you know anything about this fountain?
Well, now this
other
fountain,
than where it is?
well, through our studies, found out that this fountain was in the Woodside Cemetery about the turn of the century. And later on, it was disassembled and brought over here and rebuilt.
And the other thing is that this whole area is supported by a group of owners that call themselves PRISM.
Well, that's right. That's that acronym I can't remember. Why don't you tell them?
Because I'm the smart one. The acronym means Preservation, Restoration, and Improvement of South Main.
Ooh, that was pretty nice. Well done, well done. But there's one particular gentleman. His name's Joe, and he voluntarily comes over and helps to clean the fountain. He belongs and is a part of to PRISM.
Yeah.
But right now, why don't we head over and meet Joe? And
really, we can meet Joe, one of the members that helps support this area, and we can even learn Joe's last name.
Oh, that would be good.
Let's go.
Nice.
All right.
This way.
Well, hi. How you guys doing?
Fine. How are you?
Oh, we're doing well.
Good.
And this is your wife, Linda?
My wife, Linda.
So nice.
Wonderful.
Thank you for letting us come and visit your home.
Our pleasure.
Exactly.
Our
Now,
pleasure.
understand that in this home actually burnt down, what, 2004, 2, 3 years?
2004, yeah, about just before Christmas, 2004.
And to the ground.
No, the house is made, or the original house was made out of brick, just like this one is faced with brick. And the shell was just the only thing that was left.
Oh, that
Some
must
of the
be-
interior walls, but
How
not too much.
horrible.
Yeah, that must have been devastating.
One of those things that happens.
Oh,
At
goodness.
least you two were okay, right?
Yeah, we were out of town. Well, not out of town. We were out to dinner with some friends and came home to the fire.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, boy.
Do you know how the fire started?
The fire marshal determined that there was a problem with the heat exchanger from the furnace that was there. It was too close to the rafters in the building, and over time it just heated up the beams to a charcoal type of consistency, and then the flash point just decreased to such a point that it just caught fire one night when we were gone.
So it was the way that houses were constructed back when it was
I guess so.
originally built?
I think that's what it was. Yeah. It's one of those things that happens.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious. And were you able to save anything?
Right. Before we demolished the house, we were able to take out some of the old fireplaces, some of the old woodwork, some of the door latches, which we all incorporated into this house.
Oh, and you put it back in.
Yeah, put it back in. It was really neat.
Oh, that's wonderful. But you decided to rebuild the house in its
Yes, we
same
did.
configurations.
Yes, the house basically looks the same today as the old house did. The only thing that is missing at this point is the front railings on the front lower level and the top. It's a situation of not having enough money to do all the things that you wanted to do, you know.
Exactly.
But that's the only thing that is different for it. And the layout on the inside is a little bit different too.
Oh, okay.
Were you able to use a local contractor to rebuild?
Yes, we were. We went around, when we were figuring out what we wanted to do, we happened to see some houses that were open on the other end of town, and one of the houses was put up by fishbowl builders. And so we went inside, and just the feel of the house, the strength of the house, we thought, well, maybe if we were going to build a house, these were the type of people we wanted to use. So we contacted them and contacted a architect, and wanted them to get an idea of what it might cost us to put this house back up again, or something similar to the old house.
Well, it's gorgeous.
It
Well,
is
thank you
beautiful.
very much.
Now, understand that this is part of the historic district, and
is.
Every other year you have tours?
We have tours. We have house tours during the holidays.
Put that in our social calendar.
There you go.
That's right. That's
Matter
right.
of fact, we had built the house, and we were only in it about 6 months, and we opened up the house so that the world or the city could see what we, put back up again.
What you've done.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
awesome.
And you said that's in December, is that right?
It's in December, yeah, the first Sunday in December.
Oh, goodness. So I assume you decorate for Christmas.
Well, at all the houses, the whole street's all decorated. We put luminaries up on the street, carriage rides.
Oh, how
We have
cool.
the whole thing. The street is closed off to vehicles. So it's really a nice walking tour, and all the money that we raise from the house tour goes to fixing the fountain, which you were just
the fountain. All right. That we
putting
saw
it up.
on Middletown
Right,
Library
exactly.
Lens.
Right. But it's been an ongoing program for, oh geez, since the 1980s. I think before they even put the fountain back up.
After the devastation of your house burning down, did you consider living elsewhere?
Yes, we did. I mean, you take all those type of things into consideration when something like this happens. It gives you an opportunity to explore other areas in town, out of town, whatever. But basically, we looked around in town and we found a couple houses that we were interested in. But then when you come back here and you see this property, and more so the neighbors that we have, part of the story of when the house burned down was that our neighbors, while they were here with us and are supporting us while we were watching the fire department try to put this thing out, they were planning on what they were going to help us do to stay here. And what they did is they had found an apartment down the street, and by the next morning, by noon the next morning, they had an apartment all furnished for us with all the everything, with furniture, with bedding, with towels, with foodstuffs, everything.
That's
so
amazing.
that we could be close to here to help us make our decision to.
That is wonderful.
It was unbelievable.
That was their subtle hint to say they wanted you to
well,
stay.
I mean, going through all that and knowing how they felt about us. Just reinforced on how we felt about them.
How could you leave after that?
We couldn't. So we made that decision to, bite the bullet and stay here and
wonderful.
Figure out how to make this house look the way it is and try to bring back some of the charm of what it was. You don't totally, duplicate what you had, but that old house was just unbelievably charming. But
well, this one ain't
really
bad.
Yeah, it's very livable. She's decorated in such a way that it's home again.
And so in your house, I gather, is probably your hobby?
Well, with an old house, it was, really a hobby trying to fix it up like some of the other people have done on the street. And that was a lot of fun. There's still a huge yard and a lot of maintenance and stuff like that, but it's fun. It's the thing we like to do.
Well, now we're still on South Main, but we've moved down a few houses from where we met the Hudecs to be in front of this beautiful home. And this beautiful home was built in 1872 by Henry and Marion Libby.
Now, Henry and Marion happened to own several businesses. One of them was a brick making business. And as you can see, the entire house is made of brick.
It's a brick house.
It's a brick house. Even the interior walls are made of brick. So it was very convenient for them because they own that company. They also owned a tobacco company and a twine making company.
And a little piece of trivia, Henry and Marion were only 23 years old when they built this house. So what were you doing when you were 23?
I'm not gonna tell. Hey, what were you doing when you were 23?
I don't know, I haven't turned 23 yet.
Okay, anyway, another piece of interesting trivia is that the gentleman, or the owner, actually painted all the detail work by himself.
And just to get you from the original owner to the current owner, after the Libys owned the house, they sold it to George M. Verity, who didn't really want to live in the house, but he wanted to use the property to create or construct his own golf course. Go figure. Yes, I know. The wealthy, the rich, and the famous. And then after the Verities were ready to sell, they sold it to the Emersons, which at the time Mr. Emerson was president of Armco International. They lived in it for a long time as well. And then after that, unfortunately, it kind of took a downturn, and it became a rooming house. It was a nursing home, eventually became a psychiatric and substance abuse home, and then sat vacant for a couple of years until the current owner bought it and just worked a small miracle. Well, small, worked large miracles on it.
Miracle. But the part that I'm excited about right now is that the owner is going to allow us all the way on top to the roof to see the view.
Dude, that is not a roof, that's a belvedere.
Oh, okay. Anyway, we're going up.
I don't want to go up.
Too bad. Hi, well, we made it up here. We had to climb some ladders and go around some stairs and everything.
Yes.
But it's wonderful, and you have a beautiful view, and behind me you can see the golf course that we were talking about earlier.
I can't believe you dragged me up here just to see a lousy golf course.
Oh, come on, there's so much more to see. You can see all these wonderful historic homes down here.
They are pretty.
And it's cool to be up here. Right over there, on the other side of the trees is the Miami River and AK Steele's. I can see my house.
No, I think I can see my parents' house.
Okay, there we go. But right now, I think I need to get Carla down because she's getting, you know.
Yeah. Well, we've moved down the street, and I'm standing here with Nancy Romero, who is working on rehabbing the house behind us. And Nancy, I'm so sorry, Michael's not here with me. He's on the Belvedere. I can't get him down, so you're just going to have to talk to me. And I figure it's his loss.
It is his loss.
That's right. So Nancy, I know this is not the first house that you've rehabbed.
This is not my first house.
You've been doing this for a while.
20-something years.
Isn't that amazing? Well, you started when you were 12, right?
I did,
yeah,
thanks.
That's
yeah,
what I thought, yeah.
This house I bought to restore. It had gone to sheriff's auction, and I had sort of gotten word of that, and I was afraid it would go to somebody who wanted to use it, and my concern was that whoever had bought it would want to maintain its multifamily standing, and I really didn't want that to happen. I used to own the house next door. It was my first house that I owned. It was my first house that I rehabbed and restored, and so I was afraid to see this one deteriorate any further. So when it went to sheriff's auction, I convinced my dad as my financier, and he accepted this as my next project. So we bought this house actually from an agent that it went to sheriff's auction, and the bank bought it back, and I bought it from them actually right the day it went on the market. So I was lucky to get it. I think they were standing in line, but they were people who wanted to keep it as apartments. So
okay. Well, so and taking it back to like an original single-family home and stuff, I assume stays in line with PRISM's whole mission?
Yes, well, our mission is preservation, restoration, and improvement, and while we're not against multifamily housing necessarily, these houses were built as individual family homes. They were not intended to be chopped up and cut up and have plumbing run to bedrooms to make them kitchens. Yes. Yeah. So this is this home's original intention, and I'd like to get back to its original intention as close as possible.
And
with plumbing.
I was going to say, you know, that whole indoor plumbing
that's
thing.
A good thing.
That's a good thing. Yeah, we don't need to totally take it back to the outhouse, do we?
No.
Now I'm under the understanding that when you get these houses, you maybe do some research or something on how you want to paint the outside.
I do. I haven't done the houses that I've lived in. I of course know everything about the families and who they were and what the kids' names were and that kind of thing. This one I didn't actually do a lot of research yet. I know I've talked to the owners who lived here 20 years ago, and they have original blueprints for me, and I will get the names. I know Harlan was the original owner's name, but I don't know the intricacies of its history. These colors that I'm putting on this house, this is the primer coat, by the way, but the actual colors are going to be pretty close.
Okay.
Their Sherwin-Williams palette, they have a historic color palette, so these colors were probably available at the time that this house was built.
Okay.
So these are historic colors, not necessarily historic to this house. I do know that most of these colors were originally on that house because we did have the paint analyzed originally then, but.
Now I remember the original house that you did. It was beautiful when you were finished. It was gorgeous.
And that's gotten to be what I do. That house when I bought it was condemned. There was no running plumbing or heat. It had been empty forever. It had been really trashed, and it's not. Now it's a shining gem in the bracelet of South Main Street.
Did you just come up with that off the top of your head?
Yeah, I did.
And Lisa, you own more. Well, you have more than just this property, right?
Right now, not that I like to own multiple properties. I do still live on South Main Street. I've lived on South Main Street my entire adult life. I started renting an apartment down the street. I bought this house at 600 when I was in my 20s. Worked on it for 10 or 12 years, and then I used the equity to buy a nice big brick down at 121, and that's almost done. Of course, they're never done. That's, but it's almost to where I've completed everything. Yeah. And then this is my third house on South Main Street, and then I also own one down the street. So.
Well, and I believe we're going to go check out the other houses that you own, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And do we need to go in? Is there anything inside we need to see here?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, let's go.
Here we are in the foyer.
I love what you've done with the place.
Thanks, isn't it great? They always look worse before they look better.
Yeah.
And they always take twice as much time and 3 times more money.
Than you thought.
Yeah, than you thought. Next is the parlor here, and
so foyer parlor.
Yeah, nice flow, fabulous pocket doors. Look at these.
Yes,
these oak pocket doors. They're actually they're oak on one side and cherry on the other.
Really?
Because this room has cherry woodwork and that room had oak woodwork. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, I guess you can tell when you look up there.
Yeah.
Oh my, how cool.
Isn't that neat?
That is neat. Is that a peephole?
I love when this was apartments. I love. First of all, I love these peepholes because look, can you imagine being on the outside of this door when you know we're it's like cartoon world. So we'll have to save those.
Yeah.
The upstairs area had 2 apartments, and the walls were the walls that they had added to make the apartment up here was very disruptive to the flow. And there was a wall. You can see where the floor pattern was. This is a wall line. So we would have been in a very cramped little hallway.
Yes.
When I bought the house, these walls all came out, so that now we've got basically 3 bedrooms right here off of this little corner. And
I love the angle.
Aren't they fabulous?
Yeah.
The Victorians loved their detail.
I just don't know what else to say, except maybe we need to go to the next house. Well, we've strolled down the lane here on South Main. We strolled the lane on South Main to see another house that Nancy's been working on. And it just happens to be at the edge of, I guess, if this is 808, I guess it's the end of the South Main district.
This is the last house that's currently in the designated National Historic Register of Historic Places district.
Okay.
Which South Main Street is. It's a federal district under the National Trust. It's my home sweet home where I currently live.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Oh my. And I love the intricacies of that extra little ornate stuff there. That's beautiful.
Isn't that fabulous?
Yes.
Of course, I can't claim, other than I had the good sense to buy it. I didn't actually create any of it. I heard the grandson of the original owner describe these faces as joy and sorrow. Of course, my high school theater background, I like to refer to them as comedy and tragedy.
Yes.
And then I'm not sure the significance. All of the houses have very detailed work over the entrances. These are obviously griffins and torches and flowers, and I don't know if there's significance or not, but they're all different. They're all unique to the particular house.
It's beautiful.
Well, come on in.
Let's go up. Oh my goodness.
Isn't this fabulous?
It is. I mean, I'm not kidding you. This is beautiful. No wonder you had to buy the house.
This is exactly why I had to buy this house.
I am just enthralled with this woodworking. It's absolutely beautiful.
This was what sold me on this house. This ingle nook with the carved fireplace. The original builder of the house was Simon Goldman of Goldman Park fame. He had a store. He had a dry goods store, which meant not produce, but dresses and clothing and
fine apparel.
But yes, shoes. And he used to travel up and down the canals and the river, selling to people from Cincinnati to Dayton along the canals. And he decided that he liked Middletown enough to settle here.
Well, I just can't thank you enough for showing us your houses, letting us come into your home. It's just been great. And I'm going to have to go get Michael off the Belvedere. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I don't know. Is he swinging from the bell?
Well, he flies pretty high on life, so, I'll have to go see what I can do. But thanks again. We really appreciate your time.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Well, I'm strolling down the lane here at South Main, still looking for Michael. I have no idea where he's at. I guess he's still on the Belvedere, who knows. But I had to stop here because we're in front of Middletown's mayor's house, Larry Mulligan's house. And this is his wife, Kristen Mulligan. So thank you, Kristen, for letting us stop and capture your house here on film. Would you mind if we sneaked a peek at the lift?
You may.
All right, let's go.
Well, when Calvin and Elizabeth bought this house in 1917, it was a lot smaller. It was only 7 rooms. And in about 1930, they added on a bunch of rooms at the back and some bathrooms upstairs. And this area right here, all the way through, was an open porch. So this is all new.
Oh, wow.
I'm not quite sure where the front door was, but it may have been there, but the porch used to wrap around.
Oh, I love wraparound porches.
So the door is new in the fact that it was put in the 30s. And then the lift chair is right here. It's a silly little lift chair that goes up on this, this pretty substantial cast iron track and big gears and everything. Did Did you want to write it down?
I do. I want to write it down.
Okay.
I mean, this is something that Michael would do, but since Michael is not here, I get to have all the fun. That was fun. It's the little things. You know? The other thing that is, you know, that they tell me is pretty impressive around here is the backyard.
It's through here, through the dining room.
Okay, let's go take a look.
Well, this is the garden area. Apparently, Mrs. Verity liked to do a lot of gardening. I think they called it Well's garden. I think they called her Well.
Well.
I'm not sure why. Maybe she just said Well a lot.
Yeah, that's an interesting nickname.
Yeah, but they called it Well's garden. I've talked to a granddaughter who asked me if Well's garden was still intact, and I had to tell her no. Someone came in and took out, I think she had a lot of roses back here and a lot of plants, and someone came and took them all out and planted taxus bushes. So eventually we'd like to take those out and put some more interesting plants back here.
Oh, sure.
Some roses down behind the fountain.
It's a lovely space.
It is. And the wall is, you know, you couldn't build this wall.
Oh, no. Oh, geez. It would cost you a fortune
so pretty.
now.
It is just a really nice little secluded garden.
Yeah. And then I see just over the brick wall there's a pool.
Yes, the Verities put that back in about 1930. It's a lot of work, but a lot of fun. If you'd like to go back and see it,
yes,
we can.
We do that?
Sure.
Let's go. See how the other half lived. Wow, isn't this just a lovely pool?
It is. It's a nice little pool.
Very nice.
Calvin and Elizabeth went on vacation, apparently. This is something that when Pat Ross, we'll be going to his house a little later. When he first moved in and he was talking to Calvin and Elizabeth, they went on vacation and there was a pool somewhere and they loved it so much they came back and sold a few shares of Arnco stock and put this pool in.
And then that's a golf course behind you?
That's Forest Hills Golf Course behind us. Their pool is actually on the other side of the bushes there.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we can hear all the pool noise from next door, and it's nice. It's nice to be here in the summertime.
Yeah. So I gather if it doesn't have drains and it doesn't have a skimmer, I'm going to say it probably doesn't have a heater either.
Does not have a heater. The sun heats it.
Okay.
So
do you find that it's pretty nice?
It gets up to in the 90s. If it's warm, it'll get up there. It starts out at about 56
when
we fill it in the spring. Now we drain it using a sump pump.
Uh-huh.
We'll let the sun burn the chlorine out and we'll water the grass with it in the fall.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing your home with us. It's been great. You know, we've got the pool, the lift chair. It's beautiful.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything. Just clean it and
there
fix
you
it up.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much.
All right, and I guess we're going to Pat Rossi's house next.
All right, well, let's go.
All right. This house, I can tell you, was bought in 1976 by the people who live here now. He's been working on it ever since.
Since 1976.
Since 1976. And this man has done everything to this house that you can imagine. He's rewired, replumbed. When he had to tear up walls, because you have to tear entire walls out, he would have artists come in and redo things the way they were.
Wow.
So when I say restored, it's restored. This is the crown jewel of our neighborhood, and it's actually individually listed on the National Register.
I was noticing the plaque when we were walking up.
Right. The whole street is on the National Register of Historic Places, but this house individually is listed.
Oh,
makes it a little bit more special.
And I'm digging the window. It almost
Isn't that
gives
great?
an optical illusion. It looks like it's
the diamond pane glass, and
it is swirly.
They're all kinked to make the light bounce back at you.
Yes, and it does.
Yeah.
And the front door, it's beautiful.
This is my favorite house on the street.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Well, I think I'm ready. Let's go see it. I'm excited.
All right.
Let's see what we've got here. Oh, the dragon doorbell.
Dragon doorbell, or ducks. I don't know, ducks with sharp teeth.
Wow. And this is just the beginning.
Yeah. This is the entryway.
My. Look at the pegs.
The coat pegs. I know. This house staggers your imagination.
What a great idea.
I can't even imagine.
Well, it's
the nice thing. If you're really an old house person, you live in an old house the way it's meant to be lived in. You don't try to change it to modern standards and
I couldn't agree with you more.
Modern uses, which Pat has really done.
Oh my goodness. so much for your time. We really
Oh,
appreciate
you're
it.
welcome.
All right,
Glad you came.
Hey, let's go have a cocktail. What do you say? It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Right.
Let's go. All right.
So now where are we at? We're in front of Sword Mansion.
That's right. Which I think we could consider this the cornerstone of the historic district on South Main, don't you?
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. Paul Sorg, it was rumored, and one of the big things that I'd love to find out someday about the tunnels under the Sword Mansion. There was tunnels, rumors. I've never met anybody who's been in these tunnels, but rumors that he had connected his house to the Sword Opera House and to one of the churches right over here. So there was a rumor of 3 tunnels.
Paul did all of this.
Well, he built that. Why not?
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah. And did you know he built it in 1887?
Oh, no way.
Ask me how much he spent on it.
$5.
Close, $1 million.
$1 million?
Yeah.
In 1887,
$1 million bought you a lot back then, don't you think?
Jeez, yeah.
It's very nice.
You can get half that now.
And this is still a beautiful structure, at least from the outside, don't you agree?
It is a beautiful, gorgeous house, yes.
I hear that there's a carriage house in the back that's part of the property, that there's talk, or, you know, speaking of rumors, maybe they would put a microbrewery in that. Wouldn't that be great?
Ooh, I'd like a microbrewery. How about a restaurant, and a high-scale in restaurant right in the front, too?
I'm up for a high-end restaurant
Right,
inside. That would be fantastic.
That would be great. Well, there's another episode of Flip This Town, where we try to highlight the positive aspects of Middletown. I'm Michael Scoggins.
And I'm Carla Davis, so thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.